And welcome back to Sports on Tap. I'm Rob Trump. We have Josh, Jeffy, Dick, Sean Duffy. It's our Ohio high school football coverage where we cover the Greater Cleveland Conference, the Southwestern Conference, and the Suburban League.
Final countdown.
Nice.
Sorry. It's a good song.
Sean Duffy, everybody. And we're going to talk a little bit about our game of the week from last week, which was Berea-Midpark traveling to Westlake. And this was a fun game to be a part of. It's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And Sean knows all about it. He wrote the story, and we had video on our sportsontappodcast.com. Visit there for all of our podcasts, our game of the week coverage, pretty much everything. And also neosportsinsiders.com has great high school football coverage as well.
And Raw was featured not once but twice.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks.
Actually,
on
3
ESPN
times.
Cleveland, high school hysteria.
Yeah, listen to that, and we'll probably be on that most of the time. We'll see what happens. We've been on 2 weeks in a row, and actually this last week we were part of the pregame, the halftime, and the postgame.
Yeah.
And our game wasn't even over yet.
Yeah.
They're like, tell us what's going on. Is your game over? And I'm like, actually, we're still in the fourth quarter.
Starting the fourth quarter,
yeah,
in fact.
It was, but this game was unbelievable. I mean, whenever a team scores, 65 points, they're doing something right. And really, Berea-Midpark couldn't be stopped in this game. As the Demons, though, they received the opening kickoff in this game. They went 60 yards down the field and scored on a 25-yard touchdown run by junior running back James Coleman. They tried for a 2-point conversion. They set up for the field goal. They went for a 2-point conversion. It was no good. So Westlake led 6-0.
It was intercepted. The 2-point conversion was intercepted.
Yeah, they snapped it. It looked like the holder, I believe, was the quarterback, Billy Blood, and he dropped back through an interception. Berea-Midpark wanted to run it back, but the whistles were blown as you can't advance it after that. So it was 6-0 Westlake at that point. Then the Titans, they responded, and this is kind of how it went most of the game. They responded with a 64-yard touchdown drive. It was junior quarterback Trevor Bazinski scoring on a 6-yard quarterback keeper. Berea, though, they went for the 1 point there, and they got it. It was 7-6 with 7:55 left in the first quarter. Then it was Westlake quarterback Billy Blood, and I'll tell you what, he's an impressive quarterback. He didn't waste any time on the next offensive play. He ran the ball 69 yards, and he got tackled at the 5-yard line. He was a little bit hurt, so he came out, and Coleman would finish the job, though, for the Westlake Demons. As he scored on a touchdown run. They decided to go for one this time. It was 13-7 Westlake, and this is all with 7 minutes left in the first quarter. And right away, the Titans, they didn't waste any time responding with a 65-yard touchdown drive. And they had a 4th down conversion on this play, and then another touchdown run from Bazinski, this time from 8 yards. The Titans did regain the lead at 14-13, and that was how the first quarter ended there. Then in the second quarter, the Demons would open up with an impressive 59-yard touchdown drive. It was Billy Blood who pretty much did all the work, scoring on a 25-yard touchdown run for Westlake. It was 20-14 early on in the second quarter. Then the Titans went back and forth as Bazinski again with another touchdown run, this time from 18 yards out. Berea-Midpark led 21-20 with just a little over 5 minutes left in this game. The Titans, they were able to put another drive late in the half that resulted in a 10-yard touchdown run that ended the half. Berea-Midpark did lead Westlake 28-20, and we had a chance to talk to Berea-Midpark head coach John Hunick, and he talked a little bit about that first half.
Well, I think that we need to get better as a team, offensively and defensively, of having a quicker start. It's something we consistently work on. At the end of the day, though, we're still got a lot of guys in new spots that we transitioned from last year, so it's just about getting those guys comfortable. The thing is, even last week when we lost to Strongsville, second half we played phenomenal. Second half now we played phenomenal. This game, I think it's as a team we just got to have a fast start.
And that's John Hunick, head coach of the Berea-Midpark Titans, talking about their slow start, which I didn't think it was too slow, but I think what he wants to do is have the defense stop Westlake can give their offense a little bit of a chance. And, he's just got his offense is a well-oiled machine. And, when you looked at the second half, it seemed like Berea-Midpark didn't waste any time. They were down in the first half. Westlake's offense was playing really well, but the Titans in the second half got out to a pretty quick start.
Yeah, it was really impressive to me from a defensive standpoint how the Titans were able to really rally around some of their linebackers, and Coach Unick mentioned that we actually talked to one of them at the end of the game. I was really impressed with linebacker play, specifically when Westlake was trying to run the ball with James Coleman and trying to pound the ball, and the linebackers were filling the hole, and defensive linemen were hitting their gaps. So there really wasn't a lot of running room. And as well as William Blood for Westlake played, he was the guy that was kind of scrambling, bouncing it outside. There were some direct snaps to him that were obviously designed runs, but I felt that in the second half, the defensive effort for Berea-Midpark really picked up. And you could see it on the field, and it was really frustrating. Not only the players in the field, but the coaches who were trying to, establish the run game to kind of control the clock and not allow that quick strike offense to get back on the field.
Yeah, and, looking at this game, I thought the big play here was in the second half when Titan junior running back Bryce Agnew scored on a 75-yard touchdown run, and Berea-Midpark actually opened the lead to 35-20 early on in the third quarter. I thought that actually was a turning point for Berea-Midpark.
That was a great run.
And, the Titans, they did add a 30-yard field goal by Nicholas Rogerio. And the Titans, at one point, were up 38-20. And you thought they might start running away with this game. It was 38-20. Berea-Midpark's offense kept scoring, and Westlake seemed like they had no answer. But Westlake did respond with a 19-yard touchdown run by Billy Blood. And they did go for two and converted. It made it 38-28 with just over 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Then the Titans actually gave the ball back to the Demons, and that was on the 20-yard line, and they tried for a 40-yard field goal that was no good. So Berea-Midpark would then take a 65-yard touchdown pass from Baczynski to senior wide receiver Luis Vega, who we talked about a little bit last year, and he's one of his main guys this year. They missed the extra point. It was 44-28. This ended the third quarter. Then Westlake opened the fourth quarter with a 33-yard touchdown pass from Billy Blood to junior tight end Bryce Evans, and this was impressive. Evans actually caught the ball and ran over a few defenders before he went in the end zone.
He was not being denied on that pass, and in the press box, you heard audible oohs and whoas from both sides. I mean, I'm talking Westlake, and I'm talking Berea-Midpark's coaching staff was like, ooh. So,
yeah, no, it was an impressive catch. He went up and got it, ran over a few guys.
Wasn't afraid to go across the middle either.
Yeah, which is always a scary thing. I don't care who you are. They did have another 2-point conversion, and the Demons, at one point, it was 44-36 in this game. And as Sean Duffy wrote, unfortunately for Westlake, that's when, the tides would turn a little bit, as Berea-Midpark was able to put up 21 unanswered points in the game. And some of the points that went for Berea-Midpark, 10-yard touchdown run from Baczynski, a 50-yard touchdown run by Agnew, and a late touchdown run by Jabriel Williams as he iced the Titans for the victory. And, overall, I was really shocked with how Berea-Midpark really withstood that comeback by Westlake to put up 21 unanswered and ran away with it. But Trevor Baczynski, an impressive quarterback. He stands, 6'5", 220, he has a rocket arm. And how about Bryce Agnew?
He had a night.
He had, 2 runs. He had 120 yards rushing. So, a 50-yard run and a 75-yard run, but had other impressive runs. They're a balanced offense. Now, if they can get that defense settled down a little bit, they could be a pretty dangerous team. It's going to be interesting to see what they can do coming up. But Westlake, they fall to 0-2 and 0-1 in the SWC. And for Westlake, it was Billy Blood. He passed for 138 yards and 1 passing touchdown. He also had 15 carries for 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. James Coleman, the junior running back, he finished with 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Titans, they improved to 1-1 and 1-0 in the Southwestern Conference. And Trevor Bazinski, he finished 17 of 32 for 245 and 2 touchdowns, and he had 6 carries for 79 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. And junior running back Bryce Agnew accounted for 186 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and Sean picked those guys as the player of the week for the game.
At that point, it was hard to determine who the player of the game was. Both those guys were the linchpin of that victory. And again, a great catch by Luis Vega, not to take anything away from him, but when you look at the stats and you look at the performance and you really look at the leadership that Trevor Bazinski instills on that team, he's a humble kid when you're talking to him, understands the game, understands, he's not the focal point, but he's making the plays he needs to do. He's running that offense the way that Coach Hunick wants, and now you're starting to see the fruits. And again, Rob, like you mentioned, if they could just get that defense to play a little tighter in during the game, takes a lot of pressure off of a quarterback and a running back to have those kind of performances, because as we know, every Friday night's a different game and a different game plan. So this is a very important win for Berea-Midpark, particularly to set the tone. I mean, they're 1-0 in conference play right now against a team that was very good last year, and now they go on to play. Who do they play next week?
What did I say? Actually, they play
North Ridgeville.
North Ridgeville.
Actually, let's see.
We'll check that.
Yeah, I had it down. I'll have to look.
I mean, regardless of who they play, now they have the momentum going into it, and they can really kind of set themselves apart or get.
Actually, they play Lakewood.
They play Lakewood.
Yeah.
So
at Lakewood.
They have an opportunity to build on that a big win against Westlake, to go in and beat Lakewood, hopefully, and then go from there. On Westlake side of the ball, look, it wasn't all bad for Westlake. It's just, unfortunately, they could not make enough defensive plays to stop that offense, and it was a lot of it had to do with the running game. I mean, when Agnew has 2 runs of 50 yards and plus, it's hard to come back from them. Not to mention when you got a quarterback who is slicing and dicing, much like your own quarterback. So Westlake had a very good effort, and we're in that game until it kind of got away from him at the end there. I look for Westlake to bounce back pretty quickly too next week, and I think they have an opportunity, if they continue to play like they did on Friday, to really kind of make some noise in the SWC.
Yeah, I mean, generally you put up 36 points, you have a pretty good chance to win.
Yeah.
But when Coach Hunick has that offense rolling, it's going to take a little bit more. It's a shootout. It's a shootout, and and as you guys have said, if the Titan defense can maintain and continue to give the offense chances, they're going to cash in probably more often than not.
Well, and looking at the schedule for both teams, I mean, it's a tale of 2 stories. For Westlake, it doesn't get any easier. They face a good Olmsted Falls team, then Avon Lake, North Olmsted, who's 2-0, Avon, and Midview upcoming. And for Berea-Midpark, they really need to continue to win, because I don't know if they'll get a lot of points off of. They have Lakewood, who's 0-2, North Ridgeville 0-2, and then they get into a tough part where it's Amherst, Midview, and Olmsted Falls, and they finish the season home against a very good Avon team. So they have a few teams they just need to take care of business with, Lakewood and North Ridgeville. But it depends. North Ridgeville could be a tough team there as they travel to North Ridgeville, so not an easy place to play.
One of the things that I also saw in the post-game interview that Josh and Rob did so well was just, again, Coach Hunick's energy. I mean, the guy, it looked like he was shot out of a cannon after that win, and it was really, really fun to see, because he was hyping up not only his stars of the game, Bryce and Trevor, but also he brought in Bo Bocci, who was a linebacker, who made some really tough, really great plays.
Made a big key defensive third down
stop, and said, "Hey, man, get some love on this kid." So here's a guy, taking over Berea-Midpark program in his second year, and he's really, you could just feel the energy on that side of the ball, on that sideline. So congratulations to Berea-Midpark, and again, congratulations to Westlake. They played a heck of a game. Unfortunately,
they're a young team.
Yep.
And we talked a little bit about it. They have, a senior quarterback, but, a lot of juniors and sophomores, and they're a young team. After last season's great season that they had, they'll be young, and they'll take some bumps this year, but they'll look to get back at it. And for Berea-Midpark, they're a little bit older, but they have a lot of juniors, and I think they're going to be pretty impressive. The offense is clicking. The defense starting to settle in a little bit. Let's see how they're going to play. Now our Week 3 game of the week, guys.
Here, where are we going, Rob?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
I know. You want to know?
Get the map. Wait, get the map.
I know. We too bad people can't see. We have our map out.
Oh, we also have a spinner, too. We have a spinner.
That's right.
We have.
And it's going. It's going to Stow Munroe Falls as they host the Solon Comets.
That's going to be a
week.
good game.
Yeah, it is.
The battle of undefeateds right now, 2-0.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game last year that Stow was able to get the win on. You had
13-10.
Yeah, you had.
Sure.
Back then you had. Last year you had Kyle Van Treese running the offense for Stow, and Corian Rice has stepped into that role and has done quite well. He's picking right up where they left off, and the Stow defense has played very tough defensively as well. Obviously Josh with Solon. I mean, big play capabilities. It's going to be up to the Stow defense to try to limit Thomas Wilkes as much as he can. And the rest of that Solon offense. It's going to be, last year was a very defensive battle.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if each team put up a little bit more points this year.
I'm thinking the opposite end. I'm thinking it was a defensive battle last year. I think it's going to be even more so this year because when you got a guy like Thomas Wilkes for Solon, they're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to control the clock. They're probably going to want to set up a play action type issue, run the ball, throw the ball. I look for that Stow defense to really come to play. I think they've kind of established a dominance the last couple weeks, looking to maybe make a statement in Northeast Ohio in the top 25, Cleveland.com top 25, and say, hey, we're here, we're ready to play. So I kind of think that's going to be go away. But again, Solon's a tough team. They're a tough out anywhere, anytime you play them. They're well coached, they're well disciplined, they know how to win the game. So I'm very, very excited to be on the sidelines for that game with my man, Rob Troutman.
That's right. It's going to be a fun one. I'm interested. I don't know how this is going to go because I feel like obviously Stow knows Thomas Wilkes. I mean, they're gonna look to key on the run. Mm-hmm. So is that going to force Solon, to beat Stow with their passing game? And for Stow, they're well rounded.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be, I think it could go either way. It could either be a 13-10 game again, or it could be a 24-20 game.
Yeah,
I mean, you just
absolutely.
don't know which way it can go. I think it's going to be a fun one, though. It's going to be a tough game for Solon in Stow and Bulldog country out there, but we're looking forward to head there. And
we'll be marching up and down the sidelines and hopefully deflecting anything that's thrown our way. Mr. Rob got hit with an errant
I didn't
glove
even mention
on
that.
Friday night.
Yeah, I'm shooting video. All of a sudden, something hit me in the side of the face, and I'm like, "What in the world?" I look back, and Josh is writing or whatever, and I'm like, what did Josh throw? I couldn't find anything. I look down, and it's a huge paw. It's like a mitt, and the offensive lineman for Westlake comes over. Oh, my bad, man. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean that. He just tried to toss his glove out before the play ended, and it just happened
hits Rob in the face
to drill me. So
you know what that means now.
I don't.
You have to duel him.
Yeah.
In the gentlemanly ways, you have to duel him.
He did challenge.
Okay.
You've challenged.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
But
I don't remember.
To give a little background, usually Josh and I try and give Rob a little bit of a hard time when he's running up and down with that video camera.
And I got my exercise this last week.
So we will occasionally throw things his way. Nothing major, not like a glove, but
Well, we'll have video. We'll have our social media going.
Yep.
Sean's going to write a great story. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check out sportsontap.podcast.com. On Twitter, we're at SOT Podcast. Also on Facebook and all over social media. So follow us there. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Any last comments, Ed?
This will be, for most teams, this will be the last week of non-conference play. Between the Suburban League and the Greater Cleveland Conference. There'll be some off weeks where there'll be some non-conference play, but these stories are going to get a little bit more in depth as our teams are going to start competing against each other instead of having to chase information all around the state.
Yeah, it'll be a little easier.
We're looking forward to getting into conference play, getting to the teams that we know probably the most, and be able to speak on both sides when we're talking about these games.
Absolutely. Sean, any last thoughts?
No last thoughts. Just want to say congratulations to my alma mater. We got on the victory board last week with a 42-0 victory over Tecumseh.
Tecumseh.
Yep, and it was a good victory for the Aviators down there in Vandalia. And congratulations, Coach Hyatt.
Congratulations to the Aviators.
I guess I'll be remiss if I didn't mention the Fayetteville Perry Rockets. Coach Kevin Finch, who happens to be my brother-in-law.
Friend of show.
He's
been on a few times, I think, right?
He's been on a few times.
Once for sure.
They did pick up a victory this week.
Wow.
So they are 2-0.
You
know, as they go into they're joining a new conference this year. So we'll see if we can get them on at some point in time this year to talk about what's going on down there.
Very cool.
But Fayetteville Perry 2-0 as well.
And also, I mean, this is the first week where I begin my title defense in the SOT fantasy football.
He's already looking to make trades.
I muted everyone trying to find you.
Yeah. Sean's already trying to make trades in our fantasy football. The year hasn't even started. But, Josh, any last thoughts for you?
No. Ready?
Hey, good job out of you.
Yeah. Have a good week. I will not be in attendance on Friday. Going to be visiting Progressive Field. Girl Scout night at the Progressive Field, so daughter and I are going to go to the game. But have
Very
fun.
nice.
I'll be keeping tabs on
Sounds
Twitter
good.
at SOT Podcast.
That's right. All right. For Ed Dick, Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy, I'm Rob Troutman saying so long from Sports on Tap. Have a great week. Good luck to everyone on Friday. And again, sportsontappodcast.com. Get there. We're Sports on Tap. It's our Ohio High School football coverage.